Hello, and welcome to Gothic Arch Greenhouse's channel. There's a particular magic to a greenhouse, isn't there? It's a sanctuary, a place of glass and light where we can nurture life, extending the seasons and growing things that might otherwise struggle in our climate. It's a promise of what's to come: juicy tomatoes, fragrant herbs, and delicate seedlings reaching for the sun. But this controlled environment, this little pocket of paradise, comes with its own set of rules. It's a delicate balance, and getting it wrong can lead to disappointment rather than delight. Today I want to talk about 10 of the most common mistakes people make when tending to their greenhouses. These aren't grand, catastrophic errors, but small, often overlooked habits that can hold your plants back from their full, glorious potential. Understanding and avoiding these pitfalls is the real secret to a thriving greenhouse. It's not about expensive gadgets or rare seeds, it's about observation, care, and a gentle understanding of what your plants truly need to flourish. So, whether you're just starting with your very first cold frame or you've been pottering in a grand glasshouse for years, I invite you to Gothic Arch Greenhouses, Inc. We'll walk through these common stumbles together, and by the end, you'll be better equipped to create a space where your plants don't just survive, but truly thrive. Let's get started. The first, and perhaps the most common misstep, is born from kindness over watering. It's so easy to do. We see a plant and our first instinct is to give it a drink, believing we're providing the very essence of life. In a way we are, but in the enclosed, humid world of a greenhouse, too much of a good thing can be disastrous. The roots, which need to breathe as much as they need to drink, find themselves sitting in a boggy, airless compost. This suffocates them, leading to root rot, a fungal disease that can quickly kill a plant from the ground up, often before you see the telltale yellowing leaves above. So, how do you resist the urge? The key is to get intimate with your soil. Don't just look at the surface, which can dry out quickly and be deceiving. Push your finger an inch or two into the compost. Is it cool and damp? Then hold off. Is it dry to the touch? Then by all means give it a good, thorough soak, allowing the excess to drain away freely. Water deeply, but less frequently. This encourages roots to grow down in search of moisture, creating a stronger, more resilient plant. Remember, a watering can in the hands of a gardener should be wielded with thought, not just habit. A greenhouse is designed to trap the sun's warmth, but without a breath of fresh air, that warmth can become a stifling, oppressive heat. This is the second great mistake: poor ventilation. On a sunny day, the temperature inside a sealed greenhouse can soar to levels that will scorch leaves and cook tender seedlings. But it's not just about temperature. Stagnant, humid air is the perfect breeding ground for a host of fungal diseases like powdery mildew and botrytis. Air movement is absolutely crucial for creating a healthy environment. It helps to strengthen stems, regulate temperature, and keep fungal spores from settling and taking hold. Ensuring good airflow doesn't have to be complicated. The simplest method is to open the doors and vents. Make it a daily ritual. Open them in the morning as the sun begins to gather strength, and close them in the late afternoon to trap some of that warmth for the cooler evening. If you have automatic vent openers, they are a superb investment, responding to the temperature without you needing to be there. Even a small, oscillating fan set on low can make a world of difference, keeping the air gently circulating around your precious plants, giving them the fresh air they need to breathe and grow strong. The warm, sheltered conditions of a greenhouse are not just ideal for our plants, they are a paradise for pests. And that brings us to our third mistake: ignoring them until it's too late. An aphid or two on a leaf might seem harmless, a single whitefly of no concern, but these things are never single for long. In the perfect incubator of a greenhouse, their populations can explode almost overnight, overwhelming a plant before you've even realized there's a serious problem. A small infestation becomes a crisis, stressing your plants, spreading disease, and making your sanctuary a battleground. Prevention and early detection are your greatest allies. Make a habit of a weekly or even twice-weekly inspection. This isn't a chore, it's a chance to connect with your plants. Look closely at the undersides of leaves where pests love to hide. Check the growing tips and the junctions between stem and leaf. If you spot trouble, act immediately. Often you can simply wipe them off with your fingers or use a simple soap spray. For more persistent problems, biological controls, introducing natural predators such as ladybugs, can be remarkably effective. The key is vigilance. Be a constant, gentle presence in your greenhouse and you'll nip these problems in the bud. When we bring our collection of plants into the greenhouse, it's really tempting to just find a space for everything and arrange them neatly on the staging. But mistake number 4 is to treat all plants as if they have the same needs. Not all plants crave the full, direct glare of the sun. You know, a greenhouse is actually a world of microclimates. The southern side will be the hottest and brightest, while the northern side will be shadier and cooler. The floor will be cooler than the shelves high up near the glass. Placing a shade-loving fern in the sunniest spot is, honestly, a recipe for scorched brown leaves. So before you place a single pot, consider the plant's natural habitat and its specific needs. Sun worshippers like tomatoes, peppers, and cacti will totally revel in the brightest spots. They really need that intensity to fruit and ripen properly. Other plants like salad greens, many herbs, and young, tender seedlings will appreciate some respite from the harshest midday sun. You can use larger plants to cast shade on smaller ones, or use shade netting during the peak of summer. Think of yourself as a choreographer, placing each plant in the position where it will perform best. This thoughtful placement is a simple act that honestly pays enormous dividends in plant health. We've talked about the dangers of soaring heat, but the 5th mistake is a broader one: failing to monitor the temperature at all. A greenhouse's greatest strength, its ability to create a separate climate, is also its greatest challenge. Temperatures can fluctuate wildly, not just from day to night but from hour to hour as the sun moves across the sky and clouds pass overhead. Plants, especially young ones, really despise these dramatic swings. They crave consistency. Extreme heat can cause them to wilt and shut down, while a sudden unexpected frost can be fatal. The solution is actually wonderfully simple: a good maximum-minimum thermometer. This isn't a luxury, it's an essential piece of kit for any greenhouse gardener. Place it in a central location out of direct sunlight so it gives you an accurate reading of the ambient air temperature. Check it every morning. This little device tells you the story of the night before, how cold it got, and the day before, how hot it became. This information is honestly gold. It tells you if you need to add extra frost protection, if you need to damp down the floors to cool things, or if your ventilation is working effectively. It turns guesswork into knowledge. In the garden, we work with the soil we have, amending and improving it over time. But in a greenhouse, we have complete control over the growing medium, which is why using the wrong type of soil is such a critical mistake. It's easy to think that any old bag of compost will do, or worse, to bring in soil directly from the garden. But garden soil is often too heavy, compacts easily in a pot, drains poorly, and can bring a host of pests, diseases, and weed seeds along with it. The foundation you give your plants is everything. You really must choose a compost that is right for the job. For sowing seeds, you need a fine, low-nutrient seed-starting mix that won't overwhelm delicate new roots. For potting on young plants, a good quality peat-free potting mix with a balanced structure for drainage and water retention is ideal. For long-term container plants like citrus or tomatoes, a richer, loam-based compost like a John Innes No. 3 will provide substance and nutrients for the whole season. Don't skimp on your compost. Providing the right foundation is honestly one of the most important investments you can make in the health and vigor of your greenhouse plants. At the start of the season, when seedlings are small and full of promise, it's so tempting to pack them all in. The greenhouse seems vast, and we want to make use of every square inch. But this leads to mistake number 7, overcrowding. As those small plants grow, and they will grow quickly in the greenhouse environment, they begin to compete. They compete for light, with larger plants shading out smaller ones. They compete for water and nutrients in the soil, and crucially, they compete for air. When plants are crammed together, airflow is drastically reduced. This, as we know, creates a humid, stagnant microclimate between the leaves that is the perfect invitation for fungal diseases to take hold and spread like wildfire from one plant to its neighbor. Giving each plant enough space to grow to its mature size is vital. It allows light to reach all the leaves, promoting strong, even growth. It allows air to circulate freely, drying foliage and preventing disease. So be brave. Thin out your seedlings, space your pots generously, and give your plants the room they need to breathe and stretch. A less crowded greenhouse is a much healthier one. We often focus so much on temperature and watering that we forget another crucial, invisible element of the greenhouse environment: humidity. This is the amount of moisture in the air, and getting it wrong is our 8th mistake. Too little humidity, a common problem on hot, dry days, can stress plants, causing their leaves to lose water faster than their roots can absorb it, leading to wilting and crispy edges. Too much humidity, especially when combined with cool temperatures, creates a damp, clingy atmosphere that is a haven for gray mold and other fungal problems. Managing humidity is a subtle art. The main technique for increasing it on a hot day is known as damping down. This is simply the act of wetting hard surfaces like paths and floors. As the water evaporates, it cools the air and raises the humidity to a more comfortable level for the plants. Conversely, to reduce humidity when it's too high, you need to increase ventilation. Opening the vents and doors, even for a short while on a cool but damp day, will exchange the moist indoor air for drier air from outside. Paying attention to this invisible factor makes a tangible difference to the health and vitality of your greenhouse. A greenhouse is a working space and it's bound to get a bit messy. A bit of soil on the floor, a few dropped leaves, it's all part of the process. But mistake number 9 is allowing that mess to build up and neglecting a proper, regular clean. Dirty glass, for instance, can significantly reduce the amount of light reaching your plants, especially during the dimmer days of winter and early spring when light is at a premium. Every bit of grime and algae blocks those precious rays, hindering photosynthesis and slowing growth. But it's more than just about light. Piles of dead leaves, old compost, and forgotten plant debris are the perfect hiding places for pests like slugs and woodlice to overwinter. They also provide a breeding ground for fungal diseases whose spores can linger and reinfect new plants. At least once a year, ideally in late autumn or winter when the greenhouse is at its emptiest, give it a thorough scrub. Wash the glass inside and out, disinfect staging and pots, and sweep out all the debris. A clean greenhouse is a healthy greenhouse, providing a fresh, bright, and hygienic start for the new growing season. The compost we use provides an initial burst of food for our plants, but it's a finite resource. In the confines of a pot, a plant will quickly use up the available nutrients. Our final mistake is forgetting to replenish that supply. We see a plant looking a bit pale or failing to thrive, and we might think it needs more water or sun, when in fact it is simply hungry. Plants in a greenhouse are often vigorous growers, and this rapid growth, especially for fruiting plants like tomatoes or cucumbers, requires a huge amount of energy and nutrients. A regular feeding schedule is essential. Once plants are established and growing strongly, they will benefit from a weekly or fortnightly feed. The type of fertilizer matters. For leafy growth in the early stages, a balanced liquid feed is perfect. Once plants begin to flower and set fruit, switch to a high potash feed, like a liquid tomato fertilizer. This potassium is vital for the development of flowers and fruits. Always follow the instructions on the packaging. It's better to feed little and often than to give one overpowering dose. Think of it as providing regular, nutritious meals for your hard-working plants. So there we have it. 10 small things that, when given attention, make a world of difference. From the water we give to the air we allow in, from the food we provide to the space we allow, each element plays its part in the symphony of growth. A greenhouse isn't a machine that you can simply switch on. It's a living, breathing ecosystem that responds to your touch and observation. Avoiding these common mistakes isn't about following a rigid set of rules, but about fostering a deeper connection and understanding with your plants and the environment you've created for them. The real joy of gardening, for me, has always been in this quiet observation, in learning the language of the plants. The reward is not just the harvest, wonderful though that is, but the process itself, the satisfaction of seeing a plant respond to your care, of watching a seed fulfill its potential under your stewardship. This is the heart of it all. Your greenhouse is your canvas, and with a little knowledge and a gentle hand, you can help to create something truly beautiful and productive. Now, I'm always learning, and the best knowledge is shared knowledge. I would love to hear about your own experiences in the greenhouse. What challenges have you faced? What successes have you celebrated? Please do share your own tips and stories in the comments below. Gothic Arch Greenhouses is honored to serve and grow alongside an incredible network of horticultural enthusiasts and professionals. Have greenhouse questions? Please speak with our team at 1-800-531-4769.